and welcome to Papastache 102. So, as I just demonstrated, we've been doing this Hendrix, the man kind of style lessons. Now, what I wanted to show you now is how you can take other types of chord progressions, pop, country, rock, folk, whatever, take the chord progression and add those things that we've learned over the top to take a typical sounding chord progression maybe and kind of, mix it up and add a little right in there to keep it exciting, right? Keep you excited about playing so you don't have to just do, monotonous strumming. Not that that's bad. That's awesome. But when you hear too much of that, too many songs in a row, people are like, okay, I'm ready for something new. So throw some of these in there. Also, click the link down below. That's the Blues Soloing 145. If you haven't checked it out, that video is not on YouTube, but it kind of goes over how to solo over the chords in our typical beloved 145 progression. So check that out down below. And then also one more thing, I'm trying to get the numbers just the almighty giant status. There's so many of you out there already. I think combined the numbers like almost 100,000. So what I want to do is take this channel, get it to 100,000, and Papastache Pop to 200,000. I'd be stoked, and I'm trying to do it by my birthday. So we all got to work together, and if you don't mind helping me out, that would be killer. So if not, whatever, just enjoy the lesson. But let's zoom in for a closer look. Check it out. All right, so let's do some rhythm stuff. Now, we've been doing lessons with all sorts of Hendrixisms. I got my shirt on just for a little extra mojo. A little extra help. I'm trying to pull it in. But no, anyways, so say we're doing normal chord progressions, and it's not really what one would consider, a Hendrix type of song. But how can you add those riffs we've learned to kind of add something cool to, a typical progression you might play in another style of music? So let's just say, and I'm going to do this on the fly, so there could be train wrecks, there could be, all sorts of mishaps. So bear with me. It's just example only. Right? So let's just take C, G, A minor. Okay, so that alone, right? That's cool. I mean, it's better, it's more exciting than say just which is great, and that has its place as well. So, what I did on the first part, for those of you who this may be your first go around with just something new, right? Rhythmically, that's just a hammer on the D string, 2nd fret, and then I'm hitting the G open. I'm going to do the same thing on the G chord. It's a hammer on open A to the 2nd fret, and then I'm hitting the D, right? Same thing we did on the C and the A minor chord. And then I'll do the same kind of thing, 2nd fret. Those are all 2nd fret open string to hammering onto a fret, 2nd fret in this case. G string, and then hit the B. Okay, so that's one thing that we could do. We could also get super groovy and Hendrixify it by just kicking on a univibe. No, I'm just kidding. So, let's take this. Right, and then to our F. Or, right, and then back to C. So we've taken the same exact chord progression, but we've just added some stuff to it. Now, we can hit the C just like normal, and then slide up into our Hendrix style riff. And that would be just sliding from the 5th fret of the A string up to the 7th fret. And then I'm going to do those double stop guys on the D and G 5th fret. And I go to the 7th fret on the D while remaining on the 5th fret of the G. Alright, so we got. And then I'm going to come back to this note right here, which is the 7th fret of the A string. Or right? G, we can do a bunch of stuff. We can go, right? Super Hendrix right there. We're going to slide the 3rd fret B and E up to the 5th fret. Or another Super Hendrix thing, right? You take this part of the chord and slide up. So that would be the 2nd fret and the 3rd fret. And then we would slide it up to the 4th fret and the 5th fret and then back down. So it would be like. Or. Right? Now we go here. Right? You can do that. Or. Right? We go back to that. I keep saying right, sorry. Okay. We could go to the A minor shape here and just basically walk down a pentatonic. And then that would get us to where we could get to the A, or excuse me, the F up here, or go back down to here and use that sort of F, or use the F down here. Now, you don't always have to do one of those embellishments on the end of every chord, right? We could just go C. Right? I did it again! Ah! It's just coming out. It just can't help it, right? Alright, so anyways, somebody count how many times I said that and let me know so I can slash myself. Okay, so here we go. So we could also, instead of starting here, we can go up to the C up here. Those lower strings really have a cool, thick thing about them. Well, obviously, but sound, I should say. Okay, so we could go to that, C, and we could do, right, we could do that, or, and then we'd have to find the G that would be close, so, oops, sorry, or we could go to the A minor right here, or, so if we did it all in one spot, right, so that would be, I'm tempted just to turn off the video and start over and just jump out of the window. How many times I've said that? All right. I'm going to try really hard not to say that again. So, thus far, we've got to C. Then we're going to go to G. We're going to do all our same Hendrix riffs. Or... sometimes I'll use my fingers to pluck the strings. Gets a cool sound as well. Then we're going to go to this A minor. So it's kind of like a D shape, right? If we do D minor down here, it's that same shape. We're just moving it up to where it would be an A, which would be 9, 10, and then 8. And I'm just hammering on and pulling off of 8 to 10 and then back. Okay. And then our F. So it's the same chord progression, Not necessarily blues or any of that. It could be kind of country. It could be just a slow pop ballad. But you can use those same Hendrixonian style rhythm riffs. So give that a shot. It's really fun. I use it all the time. You know, that's just a couple examples. Really take the lesson prior to this, learn all those riffs, and just apply them to those 4 chords and give it a shot. All right, so the first part was clean. Now we can do the same thing in a distorted track. Not necessarily blues track, but let's just say like hard rock or hard rock country, right? So we got. Okay, say we did that. Now, what we could do is we could add those cool riffs to the back side of those C and D chords. Doesn't necessarily have to sound like Little Wing or Axis, but you can use the same kind of things and have a cool effect. So we got. Okay, so what I did was I just went to the tail end of those 2 chords, and you'll hear this riff a lot. So you're taking a C chord, and you're just sliding up. It would be the 5th fret to the 7th fret. And then we're grabbing the backside, or the 5th in the root of the C chord. Now you could just stay there. People do that all the time. And then same thing on the next one. Or you could, and that would be hammer on pull off, the D and G, and then I'm going to come up on the A, 5 to 7, and then go back to the root and the 5th of C again. And then, right, you could go up, whoop, and that would be sliding 9, 7, 10, 9, and then 12, 11. So we got. Right? Oh, I went so far without saying it, and it just happened again. Then I'll also, when I do lead lines, I'll throw those same kind of things out there. So I slid up from 7 to 9, grabbed 8, come back 7 to 5, and then I'll do those double stops. Because that right there is still in that, even though we're not in A minor, we're still in that A shape. So I'll use some of those pentatonic runs because we can utilize that because that's our key center. Even though it's not specific major or minor, we're just using 5 chords. I mean, this is major if I hit all of them. But I'm usually only hitting the top 3 strings of the chord. Now we could also take that. So we're doing the same basic thing where we're using our thumb. Right? So we'll do the same. It's like a curse. Okay, so we're doing the same thing. And I'm just using that same Hendrix shape, how we were doing the minor chords on the sixth string down, using kind of the pentatonic under our fingers to in place of this A down here. So you can use those. All in rhythm and solo playing as well, clean or distorted. And that's how that sound or that skill of, that bag of tricks of the Hendrix sort of thing kind of will work its way into other styles of playing. So it doesn't just have to sound like you're pinching a Hendrix tune or something like that. There's been a lot of great songs that are, I can think of a couple huge bands in particular that basically have just complete, it could be a Hendrix song, right? And that's awesome. And it's done in a modern context and they're great. And that's cool. But it's also very cool to take those skills and put them into something else. So you're letting the influence be there, but not necessarily have to sound like that particular person. All right, so work with that.